Alright, hello. Welcome to the channel. We're here to make a quick head. So you start your heads with the aluminum foil ball, as I always do in these videos. First thing you want to do is kind of find where you want that face to be. So you can have, if you look right here, you can kind of see there's kind of a brow ridge here. Or if you want to do kind of jowls here and here with the face right here, we'll do that. And a lot of times when I'm looking at these pieces of clay, I'm thinking in rat faces, because I do have my other channel where I'm making nothing but rats, cats, things of the like. So for this, I was just accidentally envisioning a rat face, but we're going to do a human right now. So basically, quickly smoothing out my shape. I am trying to get quicker at these. It is one of my main goals, is getting my speed up while maintaining the quality of the output. Okay, and this might be one of these ones where I kind of have a little bit of a neck. You see it kind of from the side. I'd sit like that with the neck. And what I'll do is just kind of start sculpting it out. What do we want it to be? I've been enjoying lately doing these kind of high cheekbone ones. So let's put a couple cheeks on here. Basically all you want to do the whole time you're sculpting is just kind of follow the natural lines that, you know, put the cheeks on, and then you'll see lines kind of start to form. And then basically when you see something, it doesn't really make sense when I say it, but so you see right here the underside of the cheek, follow that line and form that line, and kind of just let that line show you kind of what you're working with. I don't want it to be too pronounced, so you can just kind of shape it. You see kind of a chin forming up here, so follow that chin now. I am trying to do kind of a multi-camera setup because I did do that for my Bust of the Year and Rat of the Year awards. Feel free to check those out if you haven't already. Really good year. Last year was my first year for sculpting, so I was happy with the outcome. Okay, so you kind of see where we're getting at here. We're following this, kind of tracing this, pulling it to match this other side here. This one's a little bit too fat. There we go. We'll kind of just, it's all about give and take. Just push and pull your clay until you're starting to see what you want to see. And it's hard not to get frustrated with this kind of stuff, but the truth is, it's not a huge deal if something's a little bit off. You can, one, I think it makes it a little more interesting to have things that are not perfectly even on your sculptures. But two, at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal if something's a little bit misproportioned or off. Most people who are viewing these are really just viewing them for 5 seconds on the computer and then scrolling on to the next thing, and that's fine too. That is kind of where we're at with these kinds of things, and that's fine. That's, you know, but there are going to be certain people who always prefer this kind of stuff. It's not like a super popular category, but it's still, I do still have a lot of interest in it. I do watch a couple sculpting channels myself, and I have been watching people kind of making stuff out of garbage. It's Bill makes stuff specifically, but I'm not into that yet. But I do see myself possibly making my way into that kind of thing. Okay, so forming the cheek here. Now kind of just forming the ridge line for the eyes. You don't need a ridge line on every single one if you're not doing, depends on really what you're going for overall again. It's like, if it feels like it needs it, put it in. If not, don't worry about it. Kind of shaping this up to try to match this a little bit better. Pull that down maybe. Okay, so this one kind of, you see, is kind of down. Bring this one down a little bit. There we go, we're getting a little closer. It's still not perfect. But again, that's okay too. Doesn't have to be. I actually kind of like the crazier looking ones, honestly. Push that nose over. So you see the ridge of the nose here. Let's get a chin on there. I like to have kind of a, for this one I think we're going to do kind of like a strong chin, like that. This is my one tool that I use here. More than anything, it's really the only tool I use for sculpting. This little, whatever this is. Just kind of a stick, I guess. I'm kind of drawing that form together. I am seeing now that this needs to be pushed out if you look at it from above. And it's possible that I just kind of went overboard on the cheeks on this one, but that's okay. Just kind of smoothing my clay. Kind of going over and under, forming the shape up. One last time on the cheeks here. I got the chin in place. So what I'm seeing is, this needs to come up. This whole section needs to come over a little bit, like so. Bring the chin back down. You can kind of just gently work it. And the more you work the clay, the warmer it's going to get, and then it's going to end up at some point becoming too hot almost, to the point where you gotta let it cool off, or it's just going to be kind of moving everywhere. We're not there yet, but do have to come over a little. This can go up a little bit, I think. But I do need more actual face here. I think I can bring that up. Bring that up a little bit. I'm trying to keep my okay, I kind of see it coming together a little better now. This is a little bit. There we go. The cheeks are not even. Again, I talked about that. I'm fine with that. I would like the chin to be a little bit more pronounced. You can just push. Okay, this guy's starting to look a little bit evil now. But that's okay. a small set of lips here. I kind of just make a little blob like this. I don't know if you can even, it's not even coming into focus, but a little tiny blob. Roll it, put that on there. Mold it to the sides. Mold it to the top and bottom very carefully. You kind of want it to be mostly a blob the whole time. You don't want it to blend too much into anything other than the edges. You want the edges to blend, but you don't want to lose your blob while blending, if that makes any sense. So there you see kind of a lip has formed right there. And then what I would do is probably just press the chin a little bit. I think I need to give it, make it a little more blobby one more time. Because we're going for something like that. And I'm just kind of working the clay back. There you go, 2 lips now. You see where we're at. Gonna form that edge back. Forming our edge back. And that'll take away some of the width of the lip. Lightly pulling the chin. You still want to keep that same chin, but I'm just lightly pulling it back into place. And I do think the chin needs to come down this way a little bit. There we go. Now kind of just gently working all my clay back to where it should be. Smoothing it out here. Give you a quick look at what we're working with here. So you got the lips, you got the chin. We'll give this guy a quick nose. So I'm just blending the nose straight onto the existing areas, and then we'll blend it into the eye ridge so it works, so it fits in there. Blend it, same thing, into this eye, into the eye ridge. There you go, form it up. And I've been getting a pretty good reception with these noses. They do burn in the oven a little bit, which is actually kind of nice, because then the tips of the noses end up kind of pink, so it does kind of end up like a wintry kind of look. I'm trying to remember how I did this last time. I wanted like kind of a really sharp, like a plague kind of doctor almost. This, I don't want it to be a rat, one of my rats. I want it to be its own kind of thing. Lightly shaping the nose here. Very lightly, carefully. Just kind of pulling back some of the messier looking clay, anything that kind of picked up markings, fingerprints, just kind of pulling that out of here, or cleaning it up rather. And you gotta be really super light sometimes with this. Like sometimes you just gotta rub over the spot like a bunch of times until it gets to where you want it. That's not a problem. The nose is not really forming the way I'm looking for. That's kind of what I'm going for. Now I'll reshape the eye ridge here to match the eye line, the nose line. Okay, so you see I'm shaping the eye ridge. You can see that from the top and from the side, and then I'm softly brushing this corner of the eye ridge where it meets, just to kind of weaken that line a little bit. And then I kind of want to just alter the back so it's sitting a little better. And then what I'll do is, I think I'll just do the classic kind of smaller eye section with, how did I end up doing that? I could try this. Let me see if this was it. No, it's too small. So I could do the kind of classic eye section like this. And then make very small eyes to kind of just fit in there. It's too big. I think I pushed them in last time. Make sure your eyes are kind of circular. And I just kind of want to soften this area very slightly. I'm not going to go too overboard here. Some did kind of end up being a little bit plain, but that's okay. Sometimes sometimes that works out too. You can't have everything be. If everything just comes out super awesome, then you end up with no reference point. So I know that this one is kind of plain. Now I could change that. That could change in the future potentially via hair. There's multiple ways that it could end up becoming a better character. And a lot of times that'll just be the hair ends up coming out kind of good, or if I come up with a good kind of backstory for the character or something like that, the character ends up kind of usually better, coming out a little bit better. Ears are one of the worst parts because you just want to get them. They can be overworked so easy, and I'll probably end up accidentally doing that right now because I do tend to overwork the ears. So I just kind of try to form it in there. I'll leave it be. I don't go too crazy. I don't want to. The problem comes in with well, at first when you first start doing it, I can't get them to line up decently, and then after that it ends up being they're not forming correctly. They start looking like ogres, or like Shrek specifically, or just like monsters sometimes, which is maybe this is like a demon or a monster. Sometimes the ears actually work out better that way. Okay, so there you go. Maybe I'll make this into a little ogre or something, I don't know. But for now, we will put it in the oven and we will come back with the next one.